Good morning, friends. It's the weekend and I'm in mood for a Bengali dish. So let's get started. Here is the fish that I'm going to cook. It's called the Hilsa, or as we call it, Ilish in Bengali. The recipe that I'm going to make, we'll be using eggplant for it. So in Bengali, it's called বেগুন দিয়ে ইলিশ মাছের ঝোল. It's a long name probably, but the dish is really tasty. Let's see. So these are the ingredients we are going to need for making the fish. First of all, Ilish or Hilsa cut into pieces like this. You have to clean the fish very gently because it's a very delicate fish like salmon. So you have to clean all the scales and the body and then make sure that everything stays intact on the fish. Next, we're gonna need an eggplant. We won't be using the whole for these like about 9 pieces of fish, but maybe like half of this eggplant. The other ingredients that we're gonna need are salt, turmeric powder, red chili powder, Nigella seeds or onion seeds as we call them, and the Indian mustard oil, cooking mustard oil. We get this at the Indian grocery store here anywhere, and that's how we're gonna make this. First step in the actual cooking is to coat the fish with some salt and turmeric powder. You're gonna just sprinkle it over the fish and then very gently just coat it. Just coat it. My hands are clean, don't worry. You have to use your hands for this purpose entirely, no gloves. I mean, you can use gloves, but then you won't get the feel of the fish, which is important for this recipe, right? So just make sure that the fish is nicely coated with the salt and the turmeric powder. So this is how the fish is gonna look like after it has been coated with salt and turmeric powder. We're just gonna leave it for a few minutes right out here while we prepare the rest of the things. The next step is to cut the eggplant, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna cut this. So for this recipe, we're not gonna use the full eggplant, so I'm just gonna use about half of this probably. Let's see. So I cut it from center, and I'm thinking I'll probably use this bit. That's it. Yeah, because the fish itself is extremely tasty and we just need this to enhance the taste. This vegetable is going to enhance the taste of the fish, so that's why. So we just need this portion, but let's cut it into really small blocks and I'll show you how that's gonna look like. So I've chopped the eggplant and this is how it's gonna look like after it has been chopped. So this is good enough for about 8 or 9 pieces of the fish that I'm going to cook. So this will be now put in the pan and we'll fry them for a little bit. So in a large flat bottomed pan like this, probably you just add a little bit of mustard oil, and let it just warm up. Don't just overheat, just warm up the oil. I also have to keep checking on my autistic son while I am cooking. So my cooking videos are never end to end. So you have to excuse me for that. I have an autistic son who needs attention, and if I don't go into his room from time to time, there is something that can happen, right? Maybe an accident or something, but that's how. So basically, back to the recipe. So we have warmed the... Oh, he's back here. Sorry. Bear with me, please. Now, before we fry the eggplants in the oil, we are gonna fry the fish each side for a few seconds. But this is going to be a very delicate process because this fish is fragile and we have to make sure that we don't break any pieces or don't, disturb the fish while cooking it. It has to stay intact. So we're gonna take one piece at a time, and as the oil is warm enough for frying, I'm just gonna put them gently We're not gonna take too many pieces at the same time. Just gonna slowly turn them, because we only need about 30 seconds on each side, maybe even less. It's getting warm, so I need to use a spatula now. Now, after we have removed the fish from the oil, we are going to add the eggplant into the same oil. Maybe add a little bit of additional mustard oil, if needed. And we're just gonna fry the eggplant for a few minutes, till it becomes soft. After it has been coated in this oil, we are going to just cover it for a few minutes. Now, as the eggplant starts to lose, color and it's soft, we are going to add a little bit of oil in it and then add the Nigella seeds that we have kept aside. I just use, depending on the number of fish that I'm using, so maybe about 2 tablespoons, you can say. Yeah, that much I need. So these are bigger pieces of fish. I have about 9 pieces. So the eggplants are now coated in the Nigella seeds. So this is the most interesting feature of my recipe, where we're gonna need hot water in a bowl, add the red chili powder in it. Yes, the red chili powder and some turmeric powder, about 1.5 to 2 tablespoons, depending upon the number of fish that we are using. And then we're gonna mix this. Okay, just keep it aside because we're gonna need it real soon. So now we're gonna place the fish in the pan. I apologize about the bad lighting here. My kitchen does not get better light, and the artificial lights are back up here. It's not too good, but I hope you guys can still see what I'm trying to do here. Make room for the fish in the pan and just add them one by one. Now you know why I use such a large pan, right? The pieces of this fish are quite big, so after the last one goes in, and after we have put everything in here, let me just now the last and the final step is to add slit green chilies. And it's almost ready. Doesn't need to be cooked for too long. Just taste the the soup that's in the fish, just to make sure that the salt is fine. And you can just cover and let this simmer for about 1 to 2 minutes, and your food is ready, or your fish is ready.